This is the 8 ways that you can become really, really wealthy in your 20s. If you implement this stuff and you follow these steps, there's no way you don't start making more money. It's important to get super clear on what is it that you want to achieve. That is number one, that's first and foremost. Once we know exactly what we're hoping to achieve, we know the questions we need to ask, we know the people that have the things that we want to go get, it just becomes a heck of a lot easier. Before you can really go make a ton of money, it really comes down to providing value to the marketplace. What marketplace you want to bring value to? What is it that you want to achieve? What story do you want to live out? You want to get really clear on what is it that you want to achieve and then stick with it. Don't quit after a week, don't quit after 2 weeks, don't quit after 30 days. If you can go all in for at least 6 months, then you're gonna know if you're gonna either be really good at it or you're really gonna stink or it doesn't give you any energy. Naturally, as you find the right opportunities, you're gonna get a ton of energy doing it even when you suck. Stick with it. Don't just hop around from shiny object to shiny object. Number 2, get good at making money. Making money is a skill. Making money is just the same as like going and learning to do anything else. You can get good at making money. Some people have a natural propensity to be better at it. Maybe they're just naturally more skilled, but at the end of the day, it is something that can be learned. So where this is going to come from is you doing things that either people don't do, won't do, or can't do. When I first got started in real estate, I kept telling myself these stories of I don't want to go door knocking and that seems a little bit too much, that's a little bit extreme. But the reason why I found so much success in door knocking early on was because no one else wanted to do it. And to be honest with you, a lot of people just can't do it. They can't overcome their fear of talking to a stranger at the door. Now that's an extreme version, but there's so many different opportunities in this world that you're gonna find that people just don't do. Some people just don't want to get down and dirty and doing the work that it takes to actually go make money. Some people just won't do it, and a lot of people can't do it. And can't is when you find that perfect balance of your God-given ability and the things that you naturally gravitate towards. Maybe you are really good at talking to people, or maybe you hate talking to people, but you're good at something else. Figuring out what it is that you want to do and get really clear on that, well, naturally you'll have skill sets that will go toward whatever the thing is you're hoping to achieve. And then you go into, all right, well, I'm naturally good at this, so how can I help you do X, Y, and Z? One of the best ways to make money is to actually get paid what you're worth, and that comes on commission. I was working at a gym for a long time, making $8.75 an hour, and then when I became a personal trainer, all of a sudden I had services to sell to someone, and I went from making $8.75 an hour to making $20 an hour, and then I found people that would hire me separately outside of the gym. They were paying me $50 an hour, so that gave me my real big leg up. And then I went from there to like selling my information. So as I got into real estate, door knocking, doing real estate deals, so then people ask questions, they can pay me for my time, and now we teach a lot of people to do the things that we still do in our business. So there's levels to this, but you have to start by actually doing the thing, and no one is gonna pay you what you're worth until you start getting paid commission. Okay, number 3, invest in yourself. There is literally no better investment you can spend on your money early on. Don't go buy an Amazon fulfillment business or do drop shipping or spend money on just things that seem to be like, oh, I promise you can make all this money online. Guys, take your money early on and invest it in yourself. Learn things, learn a new skill. And investing yourself is not just money either. Investing yourself can be time. For me, I didn't have a bunch of money to invest in myself. I couldn't go buy into a mastermind and buy into a course or buy into a mentorship, and all those things are great. I spent a lot of money every single year. In fact, I spent over $100,000 a year investing in myself. I didn't have that in the beginning. So the way that I invested in myself was listening to books, listening to podcasts, because I got really clear on what I wanted to achieve. So then it got really easy for me to figure out what information am I lacking? What do I need to go learn? I can go learn those things because information, guys, is typically free. There's nothing in this world that you can't go search up and find on YouTube or on Google. The answers are out there, but you got to know what you're looking for. And eventually you can start spending money to shorten that learning curve by getting access to people or systems. So investing in yourself is really important to make more money because you're going to upskill yourself, and now you're of greater value to the marketplace. Number 4, you want to look for asymmetrical opportunities. What the heck is an asymmetrical opportunity? It's anything where the upside tremendously outweighs the downside. That's why people love real estate, because we know, not just from the last 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, people say, what happened when the market crashed in 2008? Let's look at real estate from the beginning of time, or at least maybe the beginning of the 1900s here in the United States. It's always gone up. You have these little blips, things go down, but it always goes up. So it's almost a surefire thing. If I'm going to invest in something, that's still an asymmetrical opportunity. If you're in early early on in a company and you know like, oh my gosh, this is a no-brainer. We already have a proof of concept and there's sales coming in, but no one knows about it yet. That's a great place for an asymmetrical opportunity to invest there, to spend your time, your money, your like the resources that you have. You're looking for asymmetrical opportunities. Again, anything where the upside outweighs the downside. And when it comes to that, typically your adage is like, hey man, you have to risk it for the biscuit. Where there's a lot of risk, there's a lot of upside, but there's also a lot of downside. That may be great. Maybe I don't need to go try to swing for the fences and hit a home run. Even Warren Buffett said, I didn't make my fortunes hitting home runs. I made my fortunes hitting singles. So I'm not looking for something that is, oh my gosh, this could be the next Facebook. I'm looking for a great opportunity that has little to no downside. So number 5 is KISS. Keep it silly simple. Now, a lot of times we feel like we have to have this incredible idea to go make a bunch of money. There's people who make millions of dollars doing landscaping. There's people who make tens of millions of dollars doing plumbing, roofing, things that you're like, oh, that business has been around for a long time. You're dang right, because there's a marketplace for it and people are spending money on it. In our mind, we have to figure out like, oh my gosh, okay, the idea is not the thing, it's the execution on the said idea. How can I take something that's been existing and either make it better or present it in a way that seems fresh and unique? That's where your opportunities come from, but keep it simple. You don't need to overcomplicate things. Even Alex Hormozy says simple scales and fancy fails. So we don't need to overcomplicate things. We want to keep it simple. So number 6, learn to live on less. I personally use an app called Albert. It's something I started using, gosh, I was probably 25 years old when I had negative money in my bank account. Guys, I didn't become a millionaire until I was 29, but in that short period of time, I started putting together financial habits. I wasn't spending all the money that I was making. So learning to live on less was a really big deal, but it's like I felt like every time I made $1, I was figuring out a way to spend 2. Every time I made $5, I was spending like 6 or 7. It's like, I'm never going to be able to live the life I want to live if I keep spending all my money on dumb shit. So I got this app called Albert. It actually puts money away for me in a savings account every time that I spend $1. What's really cool is I can check my Albert app and it says, Matt, you saved this much money per month. And Matt, you spent this much money on utilities. This is much money you spent on random stuff. Oh my gosh, Matt, you spent $1,600 last month on Starbucks. It tells me all the things. It's actually a really cool app. So I highly recommend it. But the idea for using something like Albert is the fact that we want to try to figure out ways that we can realistically live within our means, and ideally on about 20% of our income. Look, we're not going to save our way to becoming a millionaire. That's not what I'm trying to say here is. But what I'm saying is, if we can figure out a way to lower our living expenses, that gives us a lot more money to be dangerous. So if I'm making $5,000 a month, $6,000 a month, if I can live on $1,000, maybe even less, maybe $1,500, depending on where you live, all of a sudden I have this big gap of income every single month where I can start spending it and trying to grow my business or investing in myself, getting access to people, bringing new opportunities in my life, and not spending it on a car payment that's way too expensive, a house payment or rent that's way too expensive. Put that money to good use, either investing in yourself or trying to grow your business. Number 7, this is probably my favorite one of all of these, and this is leveraging your resources. Now, it doesn't matter if it's me, it's you, it's Jeff Bezos. We all have access to the same 3 resources. We have time. That's a really major one. So if I have resource of time, I can spend my time doing whatever it is that is necessary, right? The second lever is money. Do I have money to spend on myself or to grow my business? And the last one is really important, and I think it gets overlooked a lot. It's relationships, right? If you are surrounded by winners and people that are doing incredible things, you can't lose. In the beginning, you may not have money and you may not have the relationships, but you have time. You're clear on what you want to achieve. You're spending your time on things that you know is going to give you that asymmetrical opportunity. The upside is incredible and the downside is, not that bad. You're spending your time on an opportunity like that. Well, eventually you're going to start making some money. So once you start making money, you can start leveraging that money to start building these relationships, or now you have the expertise. You can show people like, hey, I've done these things. Can we be friends? Can I bring value to you in your life? Can I make something easy for you? For me in real estate, I started doing real estate deals and I started reaching out to other gurus in the market saying, guys, I'm doing these deals. I need help. Can I bring deals to you? Can I bring this and you make money on this stuff? And naturally, as I helped other people make more money, I started building a lot of relationships over here and basically made it to where, what would have taken me 10 years to become a millionaire, it took me 3. Time, it's money, it's relationships, and how you spend your resources matter and will be the biggest telltale sign if you actually go on and become successful or if your business becomes successful. So learning how to properly leverage your resources. And lastly is using other people's money. Now this is like the biggest hack of all, because if you can get people bought into you, bought into the things that you're doing, bought into the projects that you're working on, you're already focusing on one thing and people love that and they see what you're doing, you're making money and you're you're working on building these relationships, people want to be involved with you. People are going to be like, oh my gosh, how can I work with you? So when the time comes and you're ready to start bringing in investors, using other people's money and not your own is the way that you're going to scale way more than 10x, maybe 100x faster, by being able to have a proof of concept and people like, this guy, this gal, this girl is a winner. I want to invest in this person. When I buy any of my houses, whether it cost me $5,000 to buy a house or $100,000 to buy a house, I'm never using any of my money. I've just bought a house in Sedona, $75,000 come in and buy the house, using someone else's money. We have a deal in Florida, $110,000 to buy the house, I'm using someone else's money. I have a deal in Texas, it's $20,000 to buy the house, I'm using someone else's money. Even though I have the money to buy these houses, I'm not going to use my money to do it. I'm going to get other people involved. I'm going to be able to keep my money and leverage it the way I want to leverage it in other opportunities that excite me, and not just buying more real estate. When you get to the point that you can actually start leveraging, you've made some money, and maybe you're not quite a millionaire yet, but you have a proven track record and you're busting your tail, using other people's money will get you there faster.